So I thought, given everyone's interest in online teaching, that I'll go through very quickly how to sign up for Zoom. So Zoom's a platform that I use for all my online work. I think it's the most stable, reliable, and while they have free plans, which most of you can use, there are paid options and they're not very expensive. So I'm at zoom.com. It actually redirects to zoom.us, so you could use either. So let's actually sign up here and show you the process. So I'll click sign up. All right, and I'll go back. I'll go and confirm the email now. Okay, so now it's asking for our details. So let me add all these ones in and then I'll show you inside. Okay, now this is about inviting colleagues, so I'm not actually going to worry about this. I'll just click on Not a Robot and skip this step. And then you are ready to go. Pretty much that's how it works. So you can see that I've got a personal meeting URL, which is this URL here. So let's click Start Meeting now, and we'll see how it all works. Now, you will need to download a little bit of software to your computer or your device, whatever device you're actually working on, in order to use the software. And then you are ready to go. Okay, so here's how it looks once you've downloaded the software and you've started a meeting. This is your meeting room. Now, at the moment, it's offering you the link, so you could copy this URL in order to then send it to a student. And that is the link that they click to come into your room. Now, you can join with just audio. That's not going to be very useful for us. So down at the bottom here, you can see some options for which microphone's being used and what video is being used. So I'm just going to click that to turn on my video. Hello, there I am. And this is a really simple way as well for you to flick between two camera views. So Zoom allows you to do that just by plugging in your different cameras if you're doing multiple cameras, and then flicking between them through here. So for example, I could change to my FaceTime HD camera, which is maybe it's covered up. Oh yeah, there we are. It's covered up. So that's my MacBook monitor's video screen, and I could go to the FaceTime HD camera, which I think is this, which is my laptop screen. So you can see that if one of these was a webcam that was over my keyboard, I'd be able to just flick over to that and very easily show a student what I'm actually doing. So let's now go back. Oh, actually, while I'm here, I'll just show you too. If you want to get that invite code again, just click on invite and you can just go copy URL. That's the easiest way to do it. Or you could send an email to your student. The microphone selection is the same as video here. So I've got a few different microphones. I find that a lapel USB microphone is fine, but just to get started, use the Facebook camera inbuilt, microphone inbuilt into your Mac or laptop or iPhone. It's okay to get started with, maybe not for long-term use, but just to get you started, that's all you need. So that's the microphone settings and the camera settings. You can manage how many participants are in your room and that sort of thing. Share is to share your screen. I'm not going to talk about that at this stage because that's probably not going to be part of most people's lessons. And you can also record your lesson. All right, so let's now go back and have a look in your account on Zoom. So let's go to my account. And here's where you can set up all your different details if you want to. Now, you really, what I've shown you is all you need to get started, which is why I love Zoom. It's just so simple to send your students a link and log in, and you're both connected, and the connection will be great. Notice down here too, on a Zoom Basic plan, which is the free one, you can have 40 minutes time on meetings with 3 or more participants. For meetings with fewer than 3, i.e. 1 and 2, a teacher and a student, 2 cameras or 2 places, you actually can keep on going for longer than that. So keep that in mind. That's another great bonus. There's no reason why you couldn't use this for free for quite a while, particularly while the coronavirus situation is happening at the moment. So in the My Profile section, you do have account details and things like this. Notice that this Zoom link here is one that you can use for any of your lessons. What it does mean is that if you give it to 2 people and they come on at the same time, they'll both join in the same room. But you know what? I'm okay with that because it's just like them coming for a lesson here. We can get complex and send them to waiting rooms and set up different IDs for different students. But again, just to get started, use this. And what I actually do is if you paste that in to your browser, and if I hit enter now, it'll start a new room, which is down here. What you can do is just save that link as a favorite. So in my favorites here, I've just got Launch Meeting Zoom, and that just links to my Zoom room ID, and that's all I need to do. So when the piano lesson time comes up, I go video, launch meeting, and then as long as my student has their meeting ID, which is the same for all my meeting rooms, then they can connect with me. That easy. So let's have a look at some of the other quick settings that you may want to use as you get more involved in online lessons and want to have a little bit more organization and scheduling options. Okay, so if we go over to meetings here, you can use this to actually schedule a meeting. Think of meeting as a lesson. So what we can do is actually schedule a lesson time in here. So let me fill in some details and then I'll talk through what the options are. So let's say this is this lesson's happening on Saturday morning at let's say 9 a.m. Duration is 1 hour. Now you can see that again you've got another reminder here about the time limit on meetings. Time zone set to your own time zone. I think that's a good thing to do. You could set this as a recurring meeting, and then Jake, whose piano lesson is always at Saturday at 9 a.m, would always get a recurring meeting ID. You can see here you get the option to either generate automatically and share that just between you and Jake for this particular lesson, or you can use your personal meeting ID. That's the standard one that you can just give to all your students. If you want to keep things simple, you can use your personal meeting ID. I don't normally worry about requiring passwords because if only one of my students has it, it's totally fine. Video for the host and video for the participant is on. I think that is important. Just that just means that the video will connect as soon as they connect into the room. They can always change that if they want. And audio, I use computer audio. There's no real purpose for telephone. I just saw there was a warning up the top here about the telephone situation as well. And this is where you can enable a waiting room. So if you did want, let's say, to have all your Saturday people on one meeting ID, then you could enable the waiting room so that all the Saturday people have the same ID, and that's different to all the Monday people. But once they arrive, they will just be in a blank room until you actually click to allow them to join you, and therefore you can finish your private first lesson before you see them pop up into the room. And these are just some other settings you can look at if you want. So we'll go ahead and save that one. Okay, so you can see here this is Jake's piano lesson, and you can see that the meeting ID is now different. This isn't the same as your personal one. So this is the one for Jake, and it's the one that you can send to Jake for his Saturday lesson, or you could send to all your Saturday lesson people, and you can do that by copying the invitation and then emailing that through to them. If I click on the meetings tab here, I'll be able to see all the upcoming meetings in one page. You could then use this page to start each of your lessons if you wanted to, and you can click back on that and then go to edit if you need to change any of the settings. Don't worry about webinars. Recordings, if you do want to record one of your lessons, you can either record locally to your computer, or there is limited cloud recording space where they'll actually host it at Zoom HQ. I think it's quite a good idea to record the lessons if you have the permission of the student and the parent, but it really is only useful if you are going to then share that with them or create a library of them or whatever it is that you want to do. And you've also got more settings that you can look through as you have time to. But really, that's the kind of basic overview. See, I'd start meetings with host video on. That's what I always do generally, and participant video on. So these are kind of defaults. Audio, computer audio, for example. So you can, go through these. These are all pretty self-explanatory. But as I say, hopefully that's been enough of an introduction. Try it out. It's free. There's nothing stopping you using this for your lessons. I think the ability, as I showed you before, to flip between different microphones, although that's not as relevant, but certainly flipping between different camera views is great. So you could put a webcam above your keyboard and flip between that and your FaceTime camera, for example, embedded in your laptop or on your iPad, whatever it is. I personally recommend using a laptop or a desktop or something like that because it's much easier to plug in USB devices, external cameras and microphones and things like that. But there is nothing stopping you starting with an iPad if that's what you've got. Phones, probably a little bit too small to see. At a pinch, it would do, but the screen's a little bit too small. So iPad size or Android size or bigger, or preferably a laptop. So let me know if you've got any questions. Otherwise, good luck getting started with your online lessons. Hey, just before you go, make sure you click here to subscribe, and we've got thousands of other videos all on the topic of music education and teaching, so make sure you check out some of those other ones here, and I'll see you in the next video.